Hi there, welcome. It's SVPod. Red's in my feet. Steve's here. He's in a gang. Steve joined a gang. For those listening, it's not going to make a lot of sense. Maybe Jack will cut this up and send it out. And
of course he will.
I mean,
you got jokes.
I mean, what do you describe what you're wearing?
Mario or a guy at college game day had jackets made, so I'm wearing it.
All good. I'm just saying it's got a little bit of a Harley Davidson feel. It's got some black leather. Thank goodness it's got the name on the front chest, Steve.
Right there.
Shout out to Flight of the Conchords. Did Steve tell you that? Steve. Pretty inside the beltway, but Flight of the Conchord fans know. It's business time. It is a handsome leather varsity jacket. College game day. That's it. Then you guys are like a gang.
Yeah.
Travel the country. Flying back on the Bird last night, and you told me you flew how many miles this fall on? Just on Delta alone.
Delta alone was like 47,000, I think.
And you fly plenty on the Bird with us.
Yeah.
Flyhouse. Shout out to Flyhouse.
Appreciate you, Flyhouse.
Some American, #mechanical.
United. That's it. Oh.
Drew the line at that.
Yeah.
Don't disparage any other carriers. You never know when you might need to be on
exactly.
One. But college game day, traversing the land, you had not one but 2 Oregon trips?
Yeah.
A lot.
Can we go back to last night?
Of course. Okay, your boy went from snow and Foxborough Sunday Texans Steelers, the beauty and warmth of Monday, Miami and Indiana, which we will discuss. Tuesday, TGL and SoFi. That place is outrageous. What do you want to go back to from last night with that smile on your face?
Do you know how to control anything in your car?
Oh. Okay.
I'm not even talking about us getting in the car. I'm talking about when you drop me off. And it's, 1:30 in the morning?
Ish.
And you turn it off to go to the back to open the hatch. As a great guy you are, but I had put my stuff in the back seat because we had issues with the back seat. So your car was off, but then you had to start it again. And Oasis is just ripping through the neighborhood. And it was the same way when we got in the car at the airport. Do you know how to adjust volume or make it go before you turn your car on?
I don't. I do not. So we've been on the go all over the place. It's freezing when we get to Dulles. We get to the car, try to put bags in the back. Somehow the back isn't going down. We start to pull off. Steve's suitcase is ejected into the parking lot because the hatch or something wasn't all the way down. And I think just when it turns on and it connects to your phone, it connects to
what you were ripping to before you got out.
And I'll just tell you, driving home, the last time I guess I was the last time I was in the car would have been when I dropped it off at the airport.
Yeah.
But the last time I had my phone linked up was probably the night before when I was working. And I'm just going to tell you, when I drive home late at night after doing a show, you're driving down this tiny, dark road. Those in our neck of the woods know Clara Barton there's just zombie deer everywhere and not a lot of light. And so I will put on music loud and sing to just stay awake.
Poor deer in the neighborhood are probably scared shitless.
She knows it's too late. So we're walking on by. Sally, she's like, man, I screwed up. Yeah, it was loud. We had a sequence of doors not shutting, suitcases flopping out into the street. Very loud Oasis. Not once, but twice.
Yeah.
So the answer to the question is, do I know how things sync up in the car? No, I don't.
The heated seats work. You know how to work those.
Yeah, how was your booty?
Toasty.
We turned them warmers on.
Jeez.
That was nice. That was very necessary. And it's going to be even more necessary this weekend.
What are we getting?
Hard to say. Something for sure. Now, the question is going to become, Steve, as we peruse the Euro, the Yuki, not the GFS, because that model sucks.
Okay.
As we take a look at the models.
I got old Supercell open.
It's coming. It's so big. Not sure if the high is going to stay put or if it's going to get forced north, and then do we end up in some sleety, icy, which is what tends to happen with these big, gigantic storms. But we're talking double-digit inches are coming, allegedly.
Really?
Yes.
The Euro continues to absolutely slam Ohio come Sunday. This is just crazy. Skipping over the 06Z GFS.
There you go.
It was nothing crazy, and it was nearly identical to the 00Z GFS.
This
could be the start of an even more north trend.
When was that? When did that come out?
1 hour ago.
Yeah, that's the thing that we're keeping an eye on.
So we can miss it. Could go north.
It is not going to miss us. There's no missing us. It's just a matter of, are we the bullseye? If we're the bullseye, it's going to be incapacitating I'm talking about more than a foot, potentially like could be 2. Someone's getting that. Someone.
2 feet.
Could be. It goes if we end up in the sleet, that'll knock it down. But it's not like sunny days are coming this weekend. We're in it.
Oh, it sure looks like it.
I mean, the models, I will say this. I make fun of the winter model people and I always yell at you to stop posting pictures of snowstorms and what potentially could happen because it's irresponsible. But they knew 3 days ago this was coming. There was rare consensus among all of the different modeling that something gigantic was coming. And I mean, we don't do a local podcast. I don't know that we're global yet. Shout out to PFT and Big Cat. I think we're just national.
We stay in the boundaries.
In the United States. Shout out to the late, great Lefty Drizel. Did you ever hear that story? When they lost a game in Alaska, and he said, we're undefeated in the United States. And he said, well, you lost in Alaska. He goes, well, I mean the United States. As if Alaska wasn't part of the Union. Yeah, but it ain't united.
No, connected.
We just are here. Our little pod is in the United States. And from like Texas through the Southeast into the Midwest, into the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, it is a monster that's out there. And if you're someone like me that dabbles in the meat and the weather space, waiting on the 6Z, 0Z, 12Z, GFS, Euro, you're just waiting to see what it looks like.
That's not math.
The Canadian, the Yuki. UK model. They call it the Yuki. The weather folks, Steve. There's actual boards. There's communities. I'm not on them because I'm not a loser. I'm kidding. I am a loser. And you're not losers if you like weather. I just said it because it seemed like a funny thing to say. I didn't mean it. I'm one of you.
They're all out the next 4 days.
It's serious.
So what about Saturday afternoon games?
Good. Sunday.
They're going to cancel.
They might. They just out of the fear that grips this area.
Yeah. Let's shut down even more.
Sundays is where we're.
Can we move the games up? Are the games going to be affected? No, everything's out west.
Yeah, no. There's no problem there.
A long wait. What do we got? 3 and 6:30 again?
Yeah, it's too.
With no games.
And you're just sitting there watching it snow.
Man, we got to get out there.
We're talking here before noon. We're going to get some new models coming out. I'll update you, Steve. Let you know what I see.
Yeah, please do.
I will say those weather folks that post those models that I get mad at.
Does everybody know who, like...
Oh, boy.
Is there a one, like, what'd you say is always wrong?
Well...
Like, are they
the
timid?
weather people are all going to laugh at this. Everybody else is like, could we move it along? Could we talk about anything but this? No. The GFS yesterday had the storm completely missing, and everyone's like, freaking GFS, this is wrong. What are you doing? Then the next run of this GFS, it was back again. And then everyone says, like, how can you take yourself seriously? How can this model can't be taken seriously? By the way, they're just kind of guesses. They're informed guesses, but it's hard to get things exactly right. It's actually fascinating. It's actually fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
Your eyes tell me not so fascinated.
Not at all.
Okay. It's going to snow. How much? Don't
What's
know.
the warm front look like on the back end to get rid of the snow? That's the most important.
Buddy, it's the exact opposite of that.
Oh.
This is not a formal technical forecast, but cold as fuck is what it's going to be. How about a weatherman just said, yeah, I tell you what, let's get to Scotty out on the weather toast. John, Maria, I got to tell you, it's going to snow up to your nuts, and then it's going to be cold as fuck. Bundle up. I don't think my future is in weather.
That would be awesome.
It would be. People would love me. I'd be the most popular weatherman anywhere. Let's watch Scott, the X-rated weatherman. Anyway.
Do they keep records of people?
Well, the Euro, they call it King Euro because the Euro tends to be the modeling that works the best.
But the Euro's not the Yuki.
Different. Canadian. Here's what anybody does. If you're a snow lover in the mid-Atlantic, you just look for whatever model says you're going to get crushed, and you go, that's the model right there. The Canadian buries this. I always love the Canadian. The other ones. GFS out to lunch. And then everyone gets psyched when the Euro says it verifies. That means it's like, ooh, now the Euro's on board with the Canadian and the Yuki. There's 5 people that know what this is, but they're so psyched right now.
They're not listening.
They have monstrous snow boners right now listening to the conversation. Because they know that I'm one of you. I am. I'm rooting for it. But there reaches a point for me where now I'm about the event. I love it. It's fun to hear about it. But, like, incapacitating is not something I'm rooting for.
It sucks to deal with.
Especially around here. They're just not built for it. Up in Connecticut, it would snow, and there'd be a day. And then Public Works would get after it, and you were good. You get on with your life. We got no shot if we're the bullseye. None. Got to figure out, can we do the show from here? Because I'm not going to be able to get down to do it.
No.
Clara Barton with 2 feet of snow? Pfft, no chance. So about that Indiana-Miami game. Hard left. Undefeated Indiana Hoosiers. National champions. Beat in order Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, Miami. I was telling somebody this. Maryland only won 1 hoop title ever, and if they never win another one, we covered this. I'm good. That's the winter jacket that keeps me warm. They beat in order to win the title Kentucky, UConn, Kansas, Indiana. I always thought that was pretty cool. Like blue bloods all along the way. Indiana's never been this good. If they never win another one, they can look back on an undefeated season and say they beat those 4. Does that add to it in your mind? Who you beat along the way? These bellwether, tent pole, standard bearers, whatever you want to call them?
I think the fans of the school, of the program, it does. Because they know, they lived it.
And I think it should. Because, and this is not meant to disparage anyone, but there wasn't an upset in their path. They didn't play someone. They didn't play James Madison, but they can thank James Madison for their coach and what about 10 really significant players. But they didn't get a path that included any freebies or easier games.
No. And in front of that, they beat their rival again by 1 billion before Ohio State.
Purdue sucks! They beat him 122-3 in the 2 years they played him since Cignetti got on the mic in Assembly Hall.
It's funny. I was at TGL last night. There was those really thirsty Illinois guys, and one of them. They
had a 7 a.m. tea time this morning, right?
No, yesterday.
I thought they had another one today.
No, they had a 7 a.m. flight out of Lauderdale.
Oh, they missed that one.
Oh, buddy.
He's fine. He's fine. Go ahead.
And one of the guys was a Purdue guy, and he's like, is there any way Cignetti takes one of these NFL jobs? And I'm like, bud, I see what you're saying, but I think all the teams in the Big Ten are kind of like, hey, this was nice, but get the hell out of here. I don't think he's going anywhere.
He said he's not. He said he's not an NFL guy. He's a college guy. There's absolute genius in that kind of clarity, to know who you are, to know your lane, and to be content in your lane. I admire that. There could come a time an NFL team just makes it impossible not to listen. But he doesn't seem to be contemplating, I wonder if I could do it there. You know? Just he's happy. And he also has IU by the, he's got the leverage here. He could ask for anything, and they'd be wise to give it to him. I'm in ranking the reasons why this happened. We were having these conversations yesterday and the night of the title game. People just say NIL, this new era, NIL, and that's why they won. Not really, at all. That's not close to the first reason I'd list. The first reason I would list is Cignetti.
Mm-hmm.
And then so much of what happens next dovetails off of that, which is identifying people. Got a bunch of dudes, big-time dudes from JMU that came and contributed.
Mm-hmm.
His ability to identify talent and then coach it up. I don't get to NIL for a while. Mendoza matters, obviously. Won the Heisman Trophy. And you and I were talking about this yesterday. Coogan, the center, a Chicago kid who played for Notre Dame, who beat Indiana soundly in the playoff last year and played for the title, left that. A Chicago kid at Notre Dame left them to go to Indiana. Your ability to attract, because people see what it is. And sure, NIL is part of it, but this didn't happen because they spent money. Plenty of people spent a ton of money and weren't in this or close to this. So when you talk about it, moving forward, Cuban's going to be involved. He was out there taking victory laps. I don't blame him. He's a very public, front-facing IU guy. You won out there, so people know he's one of you. But this team wasn't his. He's not the one whose money was mostly behind this at all. He's been more generous moving forward. He's been public about that. But I just think the conversation about the whys takes a while to get to NIL from my perspective.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool to hear the guys who were on this team and win the title talk about the Indiana guys that were the holdovers and how they sort of went to the 13 JMU guys when Cignetti got the job, and those guys came in and were like, hey, what are we getting into here? What's the offseason going to like? What does he expect from us? This and that. So there was a general connection right there. But to get everybody on the same plate, he obviously used the motivation of nobody wanted you. I thought Coach Saban made a great point saying, I'm tired of hearing about how Cignetti doesn't have any 4 and 5 stars. Because, yeah, he didn't have any before when they were getting ranked. He's like, but they're 4 and 5 star players now. And that's because of him. Because he brought them in, he assessed what they were, he developed them. And the other thing that he does is the interchangeability, the versatility that generally comes. They were so similar to Miami when you go back and you're breaking this game down. The defensive line, they lost 2 guys. That Daly was their number 1 guy with TFLs. They lose him to a celebration injury after the Big Ten title game.
Freak accident in Indianapolis, was just jumping up to high-five a fan. Their best defensive interior lineman got injured, done.
Yep. So then you go, how does that affect you? Talking to Brian Haynes, he didn't know going into the Alabama game, are we still going to be able to get pressure? I want to have all my weapons ready to go for how we disguise things. But the interchangeability and the versatility that is embedded in that defense, you saw it on full display Monday night because Miami moved them, but the guys on the back end came up and made tackle after tackle. So the general dealing, yes, it is Cignetti because of how he went about things, but I also think he's taking care of his guys. I believe he already lost one, the strength coach, to Tennessee that was on a flight yesterday morning to Knoxville. Heupel went down and picked them up. But to have your OC and DC together for that long, like just go back one game. And I was talking to Saban about this when he was getting ready for one of the Clemson national titles. He knew Kirby was leaving and Mel Tucker was going with him and Glenn Schumann was going with him. But that was just one game that they had to prepare for. So he gave Kirby time. Hey, you want to go to Georgia and do your recruiting? Go ahead. But this is when our meetings are. Leave all your Georgia stuff out of here. When we have meetings, it's time to get ready for Clemson. And it worked out. They won the national title. Looking back, you don't think Dan Lanning's going to want to do things again, knowing that Will Stein's going somewhere and Tosh Lupoy's going somewhere as head coaches, and those are the guys calling your shots in the game?
Yeah.
You know, it's a fine line in this new day. Look at Ole Miss. They attacked it as well as you could. Golding brought all his staff in for next year, had him sit in the back of the room and say, I don't know who's going to be there to coach the Fiesta Bowl. But if that guy who's in charge right now is gone to Baton Rouge, you're in. And, like, just think about the crosshairs that are constantly moving when you go about this. Not Indiana.
Continuity.
Everything is there.
Yeah, they had the continuity, and everybody was aligned and on board together. I want to mention Becker, because that's a guy that was a holdover from IU, who wasn't a giant star, but when Surratt got hurt, he got a chance to get reps, and they were like, oh, this guy's not just some fast guy. He can do it. He made the biggest catches of the game. 3rd and 7, 4th down. It's throw it to Becker. And he made big-time plays. It turns into an incredible fourth-quarter brawl. The haymakers and the ability of each side to match the other. Privileged to be in the building. Privileged to be on the field as it's coming down to it at the end. Just standing there, goosebumps over and over again at the sound of it. You know, the stakes, what it felt like. And in the end, a Miami kid from Northwest High School makes the pick that seals it. The play that will be talked about forever and ought to be is the 4th and 5 call. Mendoza gets just blasted, stays on his feet and gets to the end zone for a touchdown on a 4th and 5 call. Cignetti told Molly McGrath we rolled the dice on the coverage we'd see. Mendoza tells me on SportsCenter it could have been a pass. And when you went back, and your eyes know better than I, but when I went back and looked at like the all-22, Black's coming out and blocking immediately, and you notice there's centers in the not the defensive backfield, but he's taking on a linebacker. So maybe he checked to some at the line of scrimmage, but the idea that what the call was at the line was up in the air is kind of wild to process as well. But every high leverage moment that required a play to be made by either the offense or the defense from Indiana, they made it. I draw that line again back to Cignetti.
Yeah, and I also say big balls. There were some big balls decisions made in that game. Mario had to make one. The 3rd down, they're getting shut out. I'm saying the 3 times they got stopped, 3 and outs. You know, Indiana's tackle them in front of the sticks, and then it finally got to it. It was 10-0, and he trusted his guys, and they barely got it. But if they don't get that this whole thing could be flipped upside down. But going back to the 4th and 5 QB draw, yes, every play in their system is an RPO, so there is a pass attached, there is a run attached. But what I think he was saying was going back and watching it, it was a pass, and then the safeties never moved. And that's the trigger we're going to run, because he obviously checked it, because to your point, the running back knew where he was going. The center and the left guard knew where they were going.
Immediately.
And the full circle moment there is the guy that he knocks off of him to continue, 31, Wesley Basaint, is the guy who knocked him out of the game in Berkeley. Knocked him out back when he was at Cal, and they were trying to pull the upset against Cam Ward. So I just – the wherewithal by Mendoza, he's done it before. They ran Shanahan talked about the quarterback draw, how he likes it, because Mendoza's great at seeing. It's not pretty, but it's effective in getting through all the garbage. You got double teams moving. You got guys dropping out. You got running backs coming to cover guys up. So it was in that moment of the game, I can't say any more about the kid. And knowing what he was up against all game, they were blasting him early. Cignetti was shook after the game. He said, first couple words, we couldn't protect our quarterback. And that just tells you what Miami brought to the table.
Speaking of what Miami brought to the table, speaking of the center Coogan, he had the quote you and I loved afterwards. He's like, that's the most physical line I've ever seen in my life. He said, that was a war. We knew it would be, but holy shit. And reading it was one thing. Hearing the way he delivered it, it was a guy that had the utmost respect for what he was up against, knew they were going into walking face first into the fan. Like, these guys are going to just try to chew us up and spit us out. And they had success, Miami did, because they're going to have success. But as Coogan said, but that's ball, baby, and they won. But just to hear the way he said it, the exhaustion after the 60 minutes to come out on the other side and to survive that Miami front, good Lord, they're good. But that IU lines was awesome all year.
Play together.
But it was good on good. I'd say great on great, actually.
Talking to Brian Haynes, the Hoosiers DC, after the game, he's still like in disbelief because they had to do it, not able doing how he wanted to do it. Does that make sense? When you go back and look at it, Miami 3 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. Indiana 1 and 1. They've lived off getting pressure on the quarterback. They didn't get to Beck in the second half. And then the idea that of all this run of Indiana, we hadn't seen them in that predicament where the defense had to get a stop.
Not one time.
Because, I mean, we've seen that situation. I mean, now too, when I talk about the similarities teams, both lines of scrimmages are great, but they're not deep. And Miami knew they had a chance here. We've seen that. We saw Carson Beck do it in Ole Miss in the Fiesta Bowl. So for Indiana to make an adjustment, make a play in your secondary, I think brought another thing full circle. And it's a credit to them for staying in. I thought Pons was great. I'm really interested to see what he does at the next level if he could play.
They let both secondaries play really physically.
Yeah, handsy.
They could have thrown a zillion flags. I'm glad they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But and Cignetti said it about the hits that should have been flagged on Mendoza. I'm all for letting him play. So am I. But they really let a lot of hand play go on with the secondary there on shoulder pads and whatever, and they let him play, and they were mostly consistent throughout. With regard to that, we hadn't seen IU have to make a stand. Miami's on the other side of the 50, and that place was electric.
Oh,
the venue was more Indiana than Miami, which is saying a lot because that's Miami's home stadium and field. And they're not, it's a small school. IU's got the biggest fan base nationally, alumni base.
Especially now.
I've heard people talk about that. What were they supposed to do? Be huge football fans? They were garbage forever.
No, I'm saying you're getting the full allotment of Indiana fans now.
And you should. And now's when you pass the hat. And that's how my understanding of how a lot of the fundraising went on is it was a whole lot more pass the hat among the congregation, which has got to be way more satisfying than just having one billionaire. That's the coolest thing about this, is that you IU fans, the legion of them, you have a stake in this financially. You helped make this happen because we're allowed to do it now, and you did. And Candy Stripe and all that crimson in the joint was a lot of orange too. And that Candy Stripes were scared shitless with a minute on the clock and like, is this dream going to die like this? And it didn't. And that, I'll take it again back to Cignetti. I'll say that they created a team that had belief. They were connected. They had Mendoza. They had guys that came from other places. They had guys that rose up. It's the perfect story and a perfect season in the end. And it also requires a little bit of luck. The stat that is mind-boggling, and I remember watching the game. They're playing Old Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
And the quarterback that's now at Wisconsin, Colton.
Gonna be, yeah.
Yeah, he went in the portal. He went on a long touchdown run to start, then IU's drive, and they fumble. They lost a fumble in the first quarter. I think they're in the red zone. I could have that wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
But they lost a fumble. That was August. Quarter 1, game 1. They didn't lose a fumble the rest of the season. That's impossible. Just bad luck. Mendoza starts spinning around on that run. You get hit, the ball could fly anywhere. 0 fumbles. That's well drilled, well coached. Also, a little bit of luck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any problem saying, give me a little bit of luck on my journey, too. It's a season really without any comp. There's nothing like it. I was last night when we got back, I thought, what's like this? What's a run that feels like it came from nowhere? Nothing. NC State in basketball had an amazing sort of Cinderella run that could have, the drunk guy on the balance beam could have wobbled and fallen off at any point along the way. Had to win all these ACC tournament games just to get in. Should have lost to Pepperdine game 1. Yeah, that was unlikely. The 83 NC State men's team. Problem in this analogy is in 1974, NC State won a title too. 9 years earlier, they'd won a title. So in 2017, if IU won a title, that would be the comp. There's nothing like this.
No.
They were terrible forever. Worst win percentage. You've heard it now said a billion times. Cignetti gets there, gets on the mic. Everyone sucks. I win. Google me. 16-0.
Yeah, the other awesome thing is Mendoza, because when I think back to all the times growing up, right? The guy who won the Heisman Trophy had one more showcase. And so many times that guy lost. They didn't play well. They finally played a team that was as good or better than them. They had the long layoff. You had more hype maybe. But for Mendoza to answer the bell, and we all knew the stats, more touchdowns and incompletions coming in the game, to not throw a touchdown pass, to run that ball in the end zone to take a 2-score lead with freaking Tom Brady on the sidelines, knowing he has ownership in the Raiders and they have the number 1 pick. So many guys have folded. And I honestly, walking the field before the game, I was wondering if it finally was going to be too big. And it wasn't, man. He threw the ball great. Yeah, he got decked. He kept getting back up. Bloody lip. I mean, the whole thing.
That was a cheap shot.
He kept talking about his nose, too. But for him to respond, and the story with the family, if you have a chance, go back and read Ryan McGee's story about their family reunions that are legendary. Him coming back to Miami, a half mile away from campus, winning a state title at Christopher Columbus High School. It's really, really cool and as good of a story as you'll find.
You said it, but let's just say them again out loud on the list. Going back to the place where you're from.
That didn't recruit you.
And that gets overplayed because it's Miami. And if you're fringe, they can't keep everybody.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, I'm not.
I'll put that on the side. They weren't supposed to recruit him initially.
Yeah, but that's also some of the fuel for the tank, or the disrespect thing.
Of course it is. Of course it is, because it's all part of his story.
Yeah.
But you're going back to where you're from. Your dad went to Columbus, the same place Cristobal did, teammate, I believe.
Yep.
You're going to play the team. You're not just going back to that city. You're going back to that city, and that team makes it to play on its home field. And there's a lot of orange, and there's a lot of, we got some Canes over here. I mean, all of the juice and all of that Cane alumni. I'm standing there talking to Michael Irvin and Ray Lewis, and it's royalty. And there's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And there's Davis.
In a Raiders sweatshirt.
I don't know what Davis is wearing.
Silver.
Leathers. Guaranteed leather.
PF Chang's.
Give me some. Hey, man.
I don't blame him.
Find what you like. Eat what you like. It's very simple. Everything is set up to trip you up if you let it.
Everything.
Every single thing.
Yeah.
You play anywhere else, it's not there. This is a magnifying glass on every bit of it. the doubt, fear, motivation, that could be too much. You go ball the fuck out. That's so awesome. And then he sits down and he's got this enthusiastic, sort of almost childlike way when he starts talking because he's going 100 miles an hour and he's so sincere and he's so, Mr. Tebow. I'm like, no, you can call him Tim. It's good. But Tim on social media. Tim tweeted out, he's like, Mr. Tebow's my dad. And I sent Tim a note. I said, I thought I had license to tell him it was okay to call you Tim. He's like, please, of course. But he's, and he's talking and he's so excited and you're just like, you can't help but think he's still so young. But then it's 4th and 5 against that defense that their center's like, holy shit. And he's getting spun around like a piñata. And that guy makes as badass a play as you'll see. It's the Vince Young touchdown against USC, not apples to apples, because Vince, it's 4th down.
He didn't get touched.
Confetti won a title, but it's the iconic, all these years later moment, confetti falling, Vince standing there, that sprint for the touchdown. The Mendoza play will be that. A Heisman winner, a Heisman moment, high stakes, high leverage, and he's getting just blasted. And he was tougher than the moment. You just cannot ask for a better play. The difference clearly is that they then had to withstand a drive, which they hadn't had to do yet, and it was for everything. And in the end, they get it done, which is why there isn't really a comp. And it's a standalone thing. And now what? I don't know. If nothing ever happened again, it doesn't matter. They've got that 2-year run.
You know what I realize?
But it will continue because Cignetti's there. Go ahead.
Who's the group of people we talk about from the end of October all the way as we get ready for the playoff?
Italians.
No. The committee.
Yeah.
They don't get together after. There's no committee top 25 after.
Why do you want one?
Who do you rank 2, 3, 4, 5?
I don't care. Miami.
You don't care?
I don't care about any of it.
Really?
No, I mean, it's just what matters about who's 2, 3, 4, 5.
I just would like to know who was ranked where.
Well, we don't know what to do with Notre Dame because they decided to not continue participating.
Correct. They're out.
Okay. You can't compare anything when teams don't have their team playing. People opt out.
No, but the playoff teams.
Oh, okay. Well,
where do you rank Ohio State?
I don't know. They lost the first time they played.
I know. That's what I'm asking.
I thought they were really good, but they lost the first game they played. So I don't know. They're behind Ole Miss because Ole Miss won games.
Are they behind Oregon?
I don't know.
You don't know?
That doesn't interest me.
You don't like ranking things.
That's something I've always been really bad at. Lists and rankings.
All right.
Red, what's the story? If you want to go out, then go out. You want to go outside? Go.
Yeah.
Don't come back.
Go to the house.
Don't look back in anger.
No.
No, I just want to scratch the door. Be a pain in the ass.
This guy.
Red, figure it out. You get all excited about podcast day, and now you're here, and what are we doing?
Go lay down.
Yeah, you got a bed. They bought you a bed.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No.
I just more things to argue about and agendas and
Who
shit.
Want? Keep it going.
That's 3 in a row for the Big Ten, though.
Yeah. I was messing with Ohio State and Michigan people and Penn State people. I was like, yeah, but you guys never wanted Indiana. You never counted them part of the Big Ten, so it's like an independent one almost.
Oh, they're going to claim it.
They didn't like that.
They're going to claim it to say, hey, listen, the thing the SEC had during that remarkable run is they were able to say, Florida got LSU, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia. I mean, they had width.
Mm-hmm.
Width. Big Ten's getting it.
Yeah.
And that's fine by me. Because the game day gang, they go to Big Ten games. That's the best. If that's the best game, the best college football TV show there is, they go to the Big Ten games. So, I mean, when you guys, your agenda, yeah, you guys, okay. game day goes to those games.
Yeah.
I don't ever see the whatever. I'm not doing that anymore. It's not a big deal. It's just since NIL came around, that field got not leveled. That field, when I say field's evened out, no, it hasn't. The field tips heavy towards the Big Ten during this window of time. So, SEC guys better get after it. Reclaim your turf if you want to keep making noise.
This is a 3-year run. SEC has had 2. I think it was 07 to 08, 09, and 2021, 22. And the last Big Ten time was
Ohio State against Oregon?
No, 3-peat.
Oh, I don't know.
It's like 41, 42, 43. Minnesota twice, and then Ohio State.
Sky-Yuma.
You had the graphic of the 1894 Yale team.
Yeah, they had some guy named
16-0.
Johnny Buttersworth or something.
You think they match up all right with this Indiana team?
No. The Yale team was running some exotic schemes that
single wing.
Yeah, the likes of which it was like warlock shit. You couldn't mess with it. All sorts of exotic motions. It's not even. I just laugh when they bring it up. Somebody got mad at me on Twitter because that's what they do. Why would you make fun of it? Because what am I supposed to say about an 1890-something Yale team? I just said boola, 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 and keep it moving.
There you go.
That's it.
Can't find the tape.
Exactly. I'm sorry I can't break it down. I don't have a hot take for you. So I'm just laughing at how there is no comparison. We're not comparing apples and apples. It's roller skates and giraffes. They're two completely different things.
I wonder about Indiana versus last year's Ohio State team.
Well,
because that team got to a level that I don't think Indiana did.
No, I agree with that. The Ohio State team last year was
that would be fascinating.
They're pretty rugged.
That's a good matchup.
Well, you can hypothetically do it.
Yeah, put them in the video game.
Like the models,
Next
the Yuki and the Euro.
Yeah.
Just put it in a model and then say what it's going to be. You have any obit, any thoughts on that? Mario didn't want to talk about, are they back? Where they are right now is what matters.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to figure out the quarterback thing. A lot of folks were connecting the dots and just presuming it's Mensa from Duke that's coming. Duke's like, hold on, we're suing you. So we'll see what happens there. Got to replace a lot on that D-line.
And O-line.
There's a lot to replace, but I can understand you don't like to talk about being back, but where you were was back in the conversation, back in the biggest games. And you know what no one wants to do after you've been back here? Go back to not being in them.
Yeah.
So that's all that this is about. Sport's more fun when Miami's in the mix. And they got to this point. What Indiana did, to their everlasting credit, is after they got there last year, got summarily dismissed, and there were people like, okay, that's fine, never let them back. They said, oh, really? How about we win them all? Now, sustaining it is the hardest thing in sports. Every coach, every athlete I've ever talked to, what's harder, getting the top, staying there? Staying there.
Eagles.
Hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Can't fake hunger, can't fake that on the come up, all the things that fuel you. It's hard not to get fat and happy.
I'll just say it was cool because you see these guys make the run, right? And we get more access to the head coach. And I thought that's what was really cool is Mario embraced the university. He came back because he didn't like the U and left Oregon, maybe one of the best jobs in the country, to go back to his alma mater. But the team was built how he wanted it, the lines of scrimmage. Then they go out. They've had success in the portal. They make adjustment in defense. He makes a great hire in Heatherman. And they embodied what he wanted. And I think that's what resonated so much. I mean, you were down on the field pregame. I still go back. Like, I was at the A&M game, the Fiesta Bowl, like that alumni group comes out. It's like, God, damn, I don't know how you rank them. Like I saw poor Steve Walsh, who I believe won a national championship at quarterback, was online looking for tickets. Like that's how long the line is.
The long line.
And then Mario bringing those guys back, and we had a feature which like Jeremy Shockey and Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, obviously. Just to see that, I just think is so cool because, I mean, I know like when Andrew Luck got drafted by the Colts, Reggie Wayne brought him down to the U. And like, think about that, early 2000s, like with Ray still playing, Reggie still like, and Andrew was just like, wow. Like that's where they went to work out. And this was before they redid the facilities.
That was when they used to work out under the Orange Bowl, and dudes would talk about it. They're like, it ain't glamorous.
Yeah. And it was awesome to see. And shout out to Hard Rock Stadium. It's
awesome.
That's the best upgrade of a stadium
It was a dump. It was
Joe
so
Robbie.
Bad. It was so bad, and now it's so great, incredible. It's somehow both intimate and yet big enough that it feels like it's a thing. So cool to be out there and feel it. And I took a lap around, and you walk by the IU folks, and I'm just looking at all the IU folks, and I'm getting them the IU, and they're fired up, and I'm like, and I just pull, guys like, yeah, SVP, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go to the U folks, and I'm throwing the U up too. I'm running for office. I just want everyone to be happy before the game starts because I know only one of you will be when it ends. I want everybody to feel what this is because energy, atmosphere, it's incredible. And I'm coming there the day after I'm up in New England in the snow, and the Patriots are on. Dude, exactly.
Dude, you picking us?
I did.
No big deal.
Just Monday felt like exactly what it turned into, which was a moment, a worthy moment to say someone's a champion. It was so cool to be in there and to see it. And shout to both teams. I did get to say hello to Mario, and I don't even know if I spoke. I'm standing there because I've done the 2-minute warning thing, and I'm waiting to say when we're coming up next, and I'm standing on the field in the confetti, and he's just standing there, just watching his guys walk off, looking at wasn't wreckage. His guys weren't.
No, they had a chance, man.
They had that far away look in their eye of knowing how close they came, and they were obviously hurting. But you could see him hurting for his guys, and I didn't want to bother him, but he spun around, and we're literally face to face, and I just nodded, and I shook his hand, and I said, "Thank you for your time throughout this run." Said, "You guys got a hell of a lot to be proud of," and he said, "Thank you."
It's hard to do. It's hard to do in that spot.
It's hard to say anything that feels. But I wanted to sincerely thank him. And I meant what I said.
Mm-hmm.
You have a hell of a lot to be proud of your group. Because you just don't feel like I'm not going to do that. I don't want to say something that's going to minimize that moment. But I want to sincerely say.
Correct. That's all you can say.
But it's hard.
It's really hard. We're fortunate enough to be there all the time. We're on the field. Confetti's going. One team's going crazy. One's not. The fan base is leaving. Amidst this Big Ten run of 3 straight, I'll say something that no one wants to hear.
Say it, Steve.
That atmosphere, and I don't know if we're going to get it anymore. That's what an SEC championship game is every year. It's 50-50, and no matter what happens on one play, half the place is going crazy. It's awesome. Awesome. And I don't know if we'll get another SEC. I don't know what's going to happen. We got decisions to be made. Where we're going with that playoff. Who knows? We can't, as Nick said, we can't even get 12 right. How are we going to go to 16? And maybe even this idea 24. But we'll let the guys that
the smart guys.
Yeah.
And gals. Okie doke. Have we covered this sufficiently?
I think so. I could talk about it forever, but I know people
yeah, right. The people out there
are tired of it.
Well, I don't know that they are. I mean, we could go back even further and talk what happened in the weekend. Like that Buffalo-Denver game feels like it was 100 years ago at this point.
Yeah. They don't even have a coach anymore.
How about that?
Not surprised.
No, it's a bit like Baltimore. You reach a point where if you can't get over the hump, I mean, it's similar. It's Josh, it's Lamar, it's MVP quarterbacks, it's getting to a certain place, not getting beyond it. I don't know that I've asked you this, so I'm going to ask you. Where were you on the Cooks catch, no catch?
No catch.
Wow. People are very adamantly that, or very adamantly he had it, he goes down, his knee hits, and when he rolls over, the defender rips it away. I felt like it had always been, if you do that, you have the catch, and you have to survive the ground. Well, the only reason he didn't survive the ground because the guy ripped the ball out of his hand.
Play continues.
Devontae Adams had the ball, and Chicago ripped it out of his hands when he hit the ground. He was down by contact.
Down by contact.
How's that different than Brandon Cooks?
Possession was still in flux.
Okay. People are adamant, oh, that's a catch 1,000 times out of 1,000, or it's not 1,000 times out of 1,000. Whatever it was, for Walt Anderson, who's a lovely man, who we were lucky to spend a little time with in the summer in New York, 345 Park Avenue, made the comment that they're trying to move the game along. What? It's a playoff game in overtime, and we're in a hurry?
Yeah, it's the NFL. You got to get the other game was already delayed. Can't do it.
Tough shit. This matters. You spend all year playing to get to this moment, and now we're in a hurry? Look at it. Take the time and ask yourself, and if the answer is the process isn't completed, survive the ground, all this semantics that's just gobbledygook, if the answer is the pass, the act of completing the catch hadn't been blah, 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 interception, first down, Denver, fine. But the idea that you're in a hurry is just such a bad look. That can't be your answer. Can't be. Oh, we got to hurry up. No, you don't. You got to get it right. There's, at this point in the NFL season, when there were 7 football games left, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, 2 this week in the Super Bowl. We got nothing but time. Get it right. So that one didn't land well with me. I don't care what the answer is. And if the answer is, well, we would have said it was an interception anyway, fine. But we're not in a hurry to determine that. We're in a hurry to get it right. I didn't love that part of it. Anyway, Josh loses, and my God, we're ill-equipped to have any conversation as it relates to this. Turns into these racial components about who protects who, and Allen said it himself. I let my teammates down. And yet, if you watch that game, the only reason they're in it is because of him, I thought. So I can understand his frustration in getting this close this often. And in this case, you didn't really even get that close. You didn't even make it to this weekend. And that's why I felt like you saw that wreckage, man, like wreckage from Buffalo. They were messed up. And then you find out Knicks can't go, and you're like, holy crap. That's got to be brutal if you're Buffalo, to lose the way they lost. And then it's brutal if you're Denver, because now you got to figure out how to win with a backup. How long is enough time to create a game plan for Stidham?
You have to adapt this week, and hopefully you win, and then look out if they were to win this game, because I wouldn't doubt Sean Payton would have everything with 2 weeks to prepare in his bag. But just to go back to Buffalo for a while, I think the wreckage of Josh, he had never played that bad on that stage. The end of the first half cannot happen. This isn't a backyard game, man.
Agreed.
You have to have ball security. And for the first time, he wasn't good enough to win that game. And yeah, he made plays, of course, but you can't turn the ball over and be as leisure with it as he was in a game of that stakes, and knowing what Denver brings to the table and how much this level is now of just guys swatting the ball and all this and that. But the end of the first half, the defense, you have too high, and you can't get beat across your face and let a guy go across the field. No, you give up 3. You're in it, okay? And then You give up 7, and then you're careless with the football. That's where the game was lost to me. And then you go back, you have the ball up 1, chance to go up 8 or 9. And I just they didn't capitalize. They had plenty of opportunities, and they didn't do it. So everybody's going to nitpick, but they weren't good enough to win that game.
I think many things can be true simultaneously. He said he let his teammates down. Yeah. Dawkins said, no, he didn't. Let him down, however you want to frame it, wasn't good enough. I agree, because he wasn't. It was there to be won, and they didn't win the game.
It just goes back. Everybody wants them to win. Everyone.
Correct. And
when you're in the middle, you side with Buffalo because you want to see it.
For Buffalo.
Correct.
And then I think people do appreciate Allen, well, the way he plays, how much he's willing to risk of life and limb, and how because I mean, look at their receiving list. Like you're counting on Cooks, who's played on like 5 teams in the last 2 years, to make significant plays for you, because I mean, Gabe Davis got hurt. They lost a number of guys to injury. Obviously, they took a guy and Coleman, and it hasn't gone great this year. Baltimore kind of has been in that same spot as well, where you're like, what are we doing at wide receiver? Right? Why can't we figure that out for these MVP quarterbacks?
Kansas City.
It's interesting as we say that out loud. I hadn't even thought about it necessarily.
Yeah.
You're talking about MVP quarterbacks, and then you say, who's their best wide receiver? It's wild. So you're asking them to overcome a lot. Although Brady, dude, 6 rings. Dude, Branch.
MVP.
I hadn't thought of it necessarily that way. I don't know. That whole game and all that goes into Buffalo and Allen, and then the discourse that follows, it just becomes exhausting. Denver at home plus whatever. Me and Sheehan will be the 2 people at the window going, all right, we'll take a flyer on the Broncos. Just general principle. Not for nothing. If Mays is reckless with the football as he's been in these couple of games, they won't beat Denver.
No.
They won't.
They're so fortunate with that many turnovers at the quarterback position to be in the spot they are. And I think they know that, and there's a belief in that team that they're going to do it however they want to do it. And they stay after you, man.
Who, the Pats?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stroud was, man, that was a mess. And at halftime, I made the point, as reckless as Stroud and Houston had been with the football, the biggest play of the first half in that New England-Houston game is Danielle Hunter strips the ball out of Mays' hands. The ball's bouncing around, and it's inside the 5-yard line, and somehow the Texans don't get it.
Yeah.
That's as big a play as there was in that football game. They've got a chance to get the ball, scoop and score. Hold on. It's the same R that you didn't like the last time, Red. Same R you hated last time, Red. Okay. Red, lay down, buddy. How can you be so smart and so dumb at the same time? Look at him. Look at him. Spinning in circles. Red, lay down, buddy. It's going to be fine. Kind of hard to do the pod right now because of you, Red. There you go. There you go. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. What's going on in your brain right now, buddy? He really hates that R, Steve.
He doesn't like the cover, I think, in the
Red, lay down.
Of it.
Red, lay down. All he has to do is lay down. And there you go. Yeah, it's a good boy. That's a good boy. As I was saying. I don't even know. Something about a fumble.
Yeah, what was...
I don't know.
So eye-opening to me was the lack of ball security focus in the Patriots-Texans game.
It was so slippery out there, Steve.
But then you go to Chicago, and it's snowing, way colder, and I was so impressed with the lack of turnovers or just balls on the turf compared to what you just watched. It felt like the whole game, ball security was an issue, and then you go to Chicago, and you just see the elements. You're like, holy hell. And then that game ensues, and it was so good. Both teams just battling it out, knowing the idea that we talked about from the week prior, and coaching staffs maybe not being invited to the same parties in the offseason, but the Rams battled. I do want to shout out Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator for the Bears. Not often we see these guys. He's a visor guy. He put on a wool hat because it was freaking cold. So visor guys, it can be done.
Sean, McVay walked up to him and said, "You kicked our ass tonight." That Bears defense was excellent, and credit to them because they were the weak spot on that team throughout the season. We left at halftime from very snowy Foxborough, and we're flying dead into the 150 mile an hour headwind. It took forever to get to Florida because we were going there for the game Monday.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I got where I was going, thankfully I was able to record that game. So I'm watching hours after it's ended. And when Caleb hits that fourth down throw, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And all I could think of was how often I'd said some version of, "You're not going to be able to do that play you did against San Jose State and Utah State, and I'll make it a Pac-12 team, Oregon State. You're just not going to be able to do that in the NFL. The ad-lib off platform, running around, ad-lib. It's the NFL. You can't do that. Or you could do it on fourth down against the Packers. You can do it on fourth down against the Rams." Just mind-boggling what Williams did over and over and over this season. Crazy to me.
Yeah, the numbers are unbelievable and what they've come back from. He was incredible. They knew they had one more chance. He got it done. The interception in overtime, I thought Chase Daniels' breakdown on whatever it was, Instagram or Twitter, was valid. Where he shows the diagram of it, and DJ Moore's supposed to keep coming across, flatten out the route. He doesn't, and the safety picks it off, and then the Rams go down and score. But there's just so much that happened in the game. The momentum swings. Stafford staying in it. Puka making plays when he had to. Chicago's still been able to run the football. And it comes down to Stafford with the ball last and a rookie kicker, and you still don't know. And the Chicago fans are just awesome, and Soldier Field was just on one. So it had everything. I thought it was the best game of the year with knowing what was at stake. Caleb did his thing. And the best thing about him, to me, is, I thought Troy was great talking about the elements, how much he hated playing when it was wet. And he talked about it's almost easier in the snow because it's not as wet, with hard rain and cold conditions. But Caleb was unbelievable in bad elements, man. Bad elements, he continued to throw the ball, and it tells me how talented he is, whether it's hand size, throwing the football, arm strength, knowing where guys are. It's a treat to watch. But hats off to the Rams for going there and getting it done, and a couple of their players tweeting out it wasn't cold enough, knowing that, the old LA Dome team goes outside and gets a win. And I always appreciate those kind of teams because you're in it and you got to buckle up for 60 or sometimes more than 60. So great matchups this week.
Is there a Super Bowl matchup that you find most interesting? I mean, Seattle, we're not discussing the game because it was over basically on the Shaheed kickoff. It was just a complete boat race. I can't get out of my head. The Rams went up there on a Thursday night in the rain with no Devontae Adams and had 580 yards against Seattle. As good as that defense is, the Rams seem to have not figured them out or solved them, but they also scored 37 and had 580 yards. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't think we're going to see a Seattle, San Francisco game like we saw the last 2 weeks for the Seahawks. It's just so hard with Denver. and Stidham to not feel like, well, the Patriots moving on, I guess at least they have all hands on deck. That would be more compelling against whoever they played. You know what I mean? Just because Nix is hurt. And that just, it sucks that that's the framing. And by the way, they can win and Stidham would have 2 weeks to game plan. And Hostetler and the Giants 100 years ago, you could do it.
Yeah.
Just feels like such a monster letdown of a team that spent all year kind of Bo Nix, the ups and downs, the this and that. But he made some big-time plays for them when they were required in that game against Buffalo, and now his season comes to an end. I don't know. They could win. It's just hard for me to see it at the moment.
I'd love to see Denver and Seattle. The one thing you're going to get is Stidham. He's going to be more on schedule, and I think that helps with your offensive line. I think it's going to help with your run game and your receivers. And what I mean by that is it's his 5-step drop is going to be 5 steps. His offensive line knows where he is going to be in the pocket. With Nix, he tends to wander, but a lot of times that's what makes him great because he plays off schedule. And I'm just in the tank for Sam Darnold. I look at what that guy has done.
All right.
And I think it'll be an awesome story. And what there's no rematch. Denver Rams would be the only non-Super Bowl rematch.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, we've never seen a Denver LA Ram Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm still scarred by Rams Patriots Super Bowl, the last one we had in Atlanta, because that's the only one I went to, and it was the worst Super Bowl ever.
13-3?
Ugh.
Horrible.
It's just a horrible experience going and working the Super Bowl. You don't get to watch the game. You have to go down basically to the tunnel to get out to the field to start the fourth quarter. So, like, when there actually was stuff happening in that game, me and Sal Pal are standing next to each other watching on a TV. You could have the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We get it next year.
There you go. I'm going to it hasn't been announced yet, but I'm just going to say I'm going to be the halftime show next year. I'm going to sing
Oasis
at the top of my lungs.
Could they do the Super Bowl?
Ooh.
Let's get it going.
And then I'm going to sit in with them.
Yeah, at the piano.
No, I'm going to put on the sunglasses, put my hands behind my back.
Just gyrate.
No, stand very still, stone still, and scowling at people.
Hip thrusts.
Yeah. Super duper. Only 2, because 3 equals a penalty. What did I want to tell you? I mean, thank goodness that something awful didn't happen, but last night, #mechanical Air Force One. I mean, it's
to turn around.
Mechanical.
Going to Switzerland.
I mean, if there's a plane, you got to make sure everything's buttoned up. Let's make sure that one's good.
We
have to go. We're gonna have to go back to the gate here. Check on it. We got the hydraulic situation. What?
We do?
Yeah. I don't even know. How's that work? I don't even know. I mean, it gets very people freak out because it's the president, which I understand. And then because everything is some conspiracy now, when that happens, it can't just be, we can make jokes about our mechanical when it comes to Air Force One and the president. No jokes to be made because, again, everyone turns something into some bigger issue. But when you see that, you think, wow, we've been lucky lately. We got from A to B. We got out of Foxborough in the snow Sunday. Been bouncing around, man. Bouncing around. But awesome stuff to be at. Very cool to be there in New England. That's a super environment. The snow made it even more fun. That Houston team was awesome. Stroud was brutal. I don't know what that was. I don't think that you suddenly can't extend him. I just think you have to ask yourself 3 divisional rounds in a row. All right, well, what is that our ceiling there? I don't know. I don't know with that one.
I just wanted to see the demeanor change. That's all. The laid back approach where everything's going to be fine and you continue to struggle. Like, give me something more.
I agree with that because when it's going wrong and you just seem detached from it, I want to know that you're pissed off by this. I want to know that you're going to dig deep and fight through it. And that's not specific to Stroud. That's whoever you are. You can say the same thing like a Herbert. You know what I mean? Like somebody whose demeanor is mostly laid back. You want to see somebody that get, I don't know, it's cliche. You see like a fiery whatever. I mean, Herbert fought through a ton this year. Guy played through a broken hand. But it's just, maybe it's that idea of a West Coast vibe, right? You just want to see somebody get in there and MF the whole world and be ready to fight or something. Dude, McDaniel with him, by the way, Herbert now. New OC. I think Harbaugh and McDaniel is fascinating.
A lot of people do.
Do they make khaki capri pants?
Yeah, he wears them.
Khaki capris?
Yeah, he's worn them.
Harbaugh?
No, McDaniel.
No, I'm saying like those really stiff, thick, middle-aged man khaki, and then make a capri pant for Coach Harbaugh.
Nah, I don't think he's going to go there with that one.
You don't know. Go ahead.
Had a great group of guys and gals hanging out for the title game. Had a group together to watch the NFL playoff games. Our guy, Booger McFarland, was there. He told a great story. In the midst of NFL playoffs, he gets traded, or he goes to the Colts, and they go to the 1 seed Ravens. Steve McNair's the quarterback, and Peyton Manning's turning the ball over early in the game. And the defense, Bob Sanders, the long line of good Colts players that ended up going on to win the Super Bowl. But Peyton's turning the ball over, and Booger comes off and he's talking to the defense. He's like, is anybody going to go say something to him? Like, stop giving them the ball. They can't move it, but stop giving them the ball. And everybody's just sitting there with a blank stare. And he said he walked over, and Peyton's just staring in the Never Neverland. And he's like, hey. And Peyton looked up at him. He's like, stop giving them the ball. They can't move it on us, but stop giving them the ball. And Peyton just kept staring at him, and Booger went back. He's like, I don't think we ever talked about it to this day, but he didn't turn the ball over again, and we won 15-6. We kicked 5 field goals, and we won the game, and we ended up going to win the Super Bowl. So sometimes some things do need to change. Sometimes some people need to say something to the quarterback, and I think that's where we are at Houston. The demeanor has to change. It can't be this cool breeze SoCal deal, man. Like your guys on the other side are giving it all they have. They're all in their prime. They love being on the field. Just don't make them go out there extra times. They're going to give you some too, extra possessions. But it just feels like
maybe the OC changes. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Who knows?
They just changed it.
Yeah.
It could be.
I don't like. There's so much flux this season in the National Football League. And now, 10 head coaches will have changed. 10, including people like Buffalo and Baltimore, like big time gigs.
Mm-hmm.
This is like in the college game when all those coaches turn around. Although in the college game, I never felt like there were enough big time proven coaches that were available for the jobs. Whereas in the NFL, I feel like there's a lot of big time names that are out there. Although in McDaniel's case, he decides, let's go OC rather than go try to get a head coaching gig. And more than 40% of the offensive coordinators will have changed in the season. And I wonder how much of it is this year where it's like, shit, Kansas City's not even in it. Baltimore's not even in it. Buffalo didn't make it to this round. And like, what are we doing? We could be a team that pulls the Chicago, which was Chicago sort of this year's Washington. Right? That you benefit from a schedule that's a little bit more gettable. You have some good fortune. You make some good fortune, but you win games that – is it sustainable? I don't know. You wouldn't want to make your living in the NFL trying to keep coming back down in the last 2 minutes. Like, I'm not picking on your Bears fans. That's just not a good recipe long term. But how will they do next year with a more difficult schedule? Who's to say? I mean, things change rapidly in the NFL, but this year front offices are changing not more than ever. This happens a lot, but this year it seems like it's even more warp speed. Where front offices, ownership's just like, fuck it, let's pull the plug, go in a different direction. Doesn't mean you're going to go in a direction you want to go. By the way, it's just a different one. You got to define different.
Couple things before we go.
Okay, I have an important one.
Shout out to us
Shout out to us.
We'll take credit for getting Miami of Ohio ranked in the college hoops.
Rank them.
Rank them.
And then they went and they beat the big-ass Lightning Bolts in Kent State in overtime.
And then they beat Buffalo Saturday, scoring 100 in both games. So, Maction.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Coach Steele, you're welcome.
Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback, shout out to you.
What'd he do?
He said all these schools came at him, $6.5, $7 million. He's like, I was the captain of Alabama. My time is done in college football. I'm going pro. I think that takes a lot. And for him to take that, knowing the criticism they got, I think you're going to be hurt. You're hearing from him earlier than people think as this quarterback class gets situated for the draft. But I respect the hell out of saying I was an Alabama quarterback, I was a captain of the team, and I don't want myself going anywhere else.
Okay. The counter to that is it's a horrendous quarterback class, and you recognize you could start the meter on your professional life. He's older.
Yeah, but there's no guarantees. Like he's saying, like he could go to a horrible situation, which there are plenty of.
That's
amidst
fair.
all the change.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know?
But just not just taking the bag to go to some other school. We had this conversation on the field. I'm bouncing all over the place, but just as it relates to NIL and all the things that, and these are guys that are players that are saying to me, what people don't recognize is if you're in a program and someone offers you a bigger bag and you leave to go to some part of the country where you're not from, they don't know you, they don't know where you're from, they don't know anything about you. And now you're kind of adrift on this island. You didn't come in with this class.
No.
You're just some guy that came from they don't even know who you are. And now you're just in this program. And yeah, maybe you got a bag, but then you realize, oh, wait, half of it went to this between agents and taxes. Now I'm in a place where I don't have anyone that really knows me, loves me. And then that reality's hard. You're a young person. And now you're on your third school in 3 years. And okay, but is it the win it seems like? For many, the answer is no. And I just thought it was interesting to hear through the eyes of players and saying that that's how they counsel young folks. Just recognize that you might find yourself in a place where you don't have 3 or 4 guys from your part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And none of these coaches recruited you. Just somebody found you. AI. People are using that. Try to find players.
Yeah.
Now you're just some dude. Where are you from? What's your name? I don't know, man.
You know what else this has done,
good for Simpson. For what you're saying, I also think that he's got a nice lane here because the quarterback class is bad. What else do we have?
This whole climate that we're in college football, what's really evident, and I started thinking about this weekend, seeing Miami and Indiana on the cusp of a national championship. No matter where you are outside of those two teams like this week, and their dominoes are going to fall, you can't get excited about next year. You have no idea who's going to be on your team.
Yay.
You know, like usually it's like, oh, we redshirted, some linemen. We got a couple skill guys that showed some promise this year. Our quarterback got better as the season goes over. You have no idea. It sucks.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, of course it does. And every single stakeholder knows it.
Yeah.
And no one can change it because there's no one in charge. But the Indiana story was cool. The games are good. Everything else that surrounds it are so hopelessly screwed. Speaking of screwed.
Oh.
If you're a tall guy, I don't know if I'm speaking now to the talls or the balds. Maybe just the tall balds, of which I am one.
Oh.
I don't know where is it?
Right there.
You ever see an old guy with a Band-Aid on his head and you just go, oh, look at that poor old guy. He's old and feeble. Did he get hit in the head with a hammer? Did somebody throw a rock at him? He's just old and feeble. Maybe he had some cancerous thing, had to get burned off his head. But you see a guy freckly, bald head with a Band-Aid on it. And you wonder what happened. Well, in my case, I hit my head on stuff a lot. Now I'm 6'6". Steve's laughing. Steve was there for not one, but two separate episodes just yesterday. We go to get
the same day.
We go to get a lunch. We had a little time before TGL. By the way,
shout out to Capitol Grill.
Sure.
It's the same thing every time, and it's awesome.
A delicious lunch at Capitol Grill. We enjoyed it immensely. Then we enjoyed our time in TGL SoFi. First-class outfit. The technology, outrageous. Been there twice. Fantastic. As we're getting in the vehicle to go back to the hotel before we go over to begin our work day.
I did order an XL car, too, knowing that you are a bigger human.
It was not an XL vehicle.
It was an SUV.
Was it?
Yeah.
But it was one of them little ones.
Okay.
Did you step up or down to get in this vehicle?
The first one up.
The second one, where I bashed my head and immediately was bleeding. Settle down, Red. I whack my head and it's instant hand on head. Up, we're bleeding. So the gentleman was kind enough to give us a napkin. Might have blown his nose in it. Who's to say?
I saw a paper towel. I'm like, sir, can we borrow that?
Borrow's a rough word because you're not taking it back after I've bled into it. Anyway. So
hey,
now,
pal, we're going to need that.
My friend's bleeding. His peepaw, he's leaking. Peepaw melon's leaking. So we get back, and I'm looking, and I'm thinking, okay. And I got a Band-Aid on my head. And I go in there, and you're going to see the fellas, the different. And I realize as I'm talking to him, Jesus, I got a Band-Aid on my head. And you don't want to draw more attention to it, but then in your head, they're probably thinking, oh, look at him. He's elderly. He's got a head Band-Aid. So we cover it up as best we can, go on, do our little bit on TV. We're flying home, and I'm trying to climb over the big man in the back to go in the back, and these are PJ problems. It's just the restrooms aren't spacious.
No.
And so as I duck in there, I crack the top of my head.
Right. I mean, flush.
And I look up immediately, and all I see is the big man's face. Now, as you know, his laugh is infectious. His smile, it warms your heart. But when you've got tears in your eyes because you just squared your melon on the door of the bathroom and you see the big fella laughing at you, all I could do is I think I just what am I doing? Now I'm bleeding again. It's the second head-smashing episode of the day. Thankfully, what cures everything? What fixes everything?
Aquaphor.
Bang. We put some of that on there with a Band-Aid last night to sleep because I didn't want to bleed all over the bed. And here we are. So I guess all of this is just to ask the balds and the talls, but mostly the tall balds, because if you have hair, this probably doesn't happen. Do y'all just hit your head on stuff all the time? Because I do.
A lot.
More than anyone.
You were the safety going after a defenseless receiver, and you got called for targeting, and you knocked yourself out.
That's a bad combo. 15 ejected for the first half of the next game, and you're in protocol.
But the one in the car, you just have a chunk of skin hanging off. I'm
Flap.
Like, buddy, we're going to need that paper towel. Like, it was monstrous.
Yeah, and I kind of just put the flap back on top, and then when I came home last night, I did some surgery where I just ripped it off, and then I'm bleeding again. Do the rest of you all do this, or do I just have a really bad... Is my radar off? Is my spatial awareness off?
No, I'll tell you what it is.
What is it?
Your physical awareness. Declining athleticism. You think you're low enough, you're not.
Declining athleticism.
Hip, knee, and ankle flexibility, what Cignetti loves in players, we don't have that. It's only deteriorating. So when you think you got to get low.
Low man wins.
You got to be lower.
You know who loses?
Leverage, dude.
High man loses.
Yes. For the The history of time.
So this is a high man loses scenario. That makes sense because the
hip flexibility.
I don't have it.
You can work on that. A couple stretches.
The last time that I smacked my head on a tree limb because I had gone under to get
those are bad.
Had to get the Nerf.
Yep.
And that's what it is. You think, I'm under it, only you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, as we got into this non-SUV miniature clown car,
sorry,
I didn't say it was you. Whoever sent it, the gentleman was lovely. I'm just saying the vehicle. SUV means a big, tall thing you climb up to get into. This was not that. It was low. And I was not low. So maybe this was just an exercise of me talking through some things. Maybe the rest of the tall balds out there don't hit their heads on stuff because they got better hip, knee, and ankle flexibility and more athleticism.
And you know what else?
What?
You did the same thing I do all the time when it happens to me. You check because you know it's going to be bleeding.
Sure, just hand on head, look at the hand.
There it is.
There's the blood. Oh, and it's normally, if it's just a little dabble, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have a scab, but no. That's
a big one.
There was blood, penny-sized chunk.
And the makeup, they can't do anything because it's pure red blood. And then it looks like a giant mole.
It's exposed flesh.
Yeah.
It's meat, head meat.
So what are you going to do tonight?
Oh God, that's right. We're on. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna dress
wear
up.
Wear a hat.
No, I'm gonna wear like a mummy wrap. And
wear the fez.
There you go. I got a fez.
Yeah.
I might go full fez. No, I'm gonna go full mummy wrap and I want it to be bleeding so that I can draw attention to it, and then I can say I'm on IR. Scott's on IR. Can't do any more shows. I mean, I think we just did Massachusetts.
5 and 12 days. You did remotes.
We did.
Yeah.
Atlanta for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Pittsburgh for a playoff game. Foxborough for the divisional. Monday for the title game. Title game,
Tuesday,
by the way.
TGL.
Title game outrated the NFL game?
The numbers could be getting there.
Understanding is that
the Monday night NFL game.
Understood. The title game apparently did incredibly well, which makes sense. I think
Midwest loves their ball.
And it's an undeniable story. I think nationally it's one of those things where if you live in Phoenix and have no geographical tie, obviously, to either Indiana or Miami, you're aware of the story. If you're in Seattle, you're in Minneapolis, you're in Maine, you're in Chicago. I mean, Chicago obviously have... And as we've learned, this Indiana fan base has got the biggest alumni base in the nation, which I did not know. Did not know.
Tons of people and fans.
And all of them came to it. I mean, think about it. Pasadena, Atlanta, Miami, and they flooded the zone in all those places. That's impressive stuff.
Good for them. Congrats.
All right. All right. So, hey, we're following an NBA game if you're listening on Wednesday. Why wouldn't we? Then Thursday, Steve and I are going to go to Calgary and do hockey. Fuck it. Then we're going to get on a plane and see. Let's go to New Zealand. Are the All Blacks playing rugby?
Australian Open.
Yes, that. We don't need to go see rugby, but we could. We'll just
give Monaco a break in the booth.
Go to Australia.
Fowler's headed there.
It's lovely. It's just you fly for so long you can't believe you're on the same planet, as I was describing to some folks last night or 2 nights. I don't remember what night it was. We've done a lot of traveling, and I'm concussed twice in one day. Bugs Bunny with birds flying around my head, bleeding. Steve looking at me in the face, laughing. Then we ejecting suitcases in parking lots. It's 4 degrees, and we're playing Oasis at 1,000. What an adventure, huh?
Oh, man.
Hey, nobody I'd rather have riding shotgun with me.
Light is at the end of the tunnel.
Is it? Is it a train?
Super Bowl.
Yeah. I hope it's not a train.
One real quick, sorry. We got to stop with selling this Golden Gate Bridge as the highlight of the Super Bowl. The stadium's like 60, 65 miles away.
Yeah, San Francisco, dude.
It's the game's in Santa Clara. Just
what's the Santa Clara point of reference?
Dude, Broncos, Steve Nash. Remember?
All
beat
right.
Arizona.
That's, yeah.
Herb Sendek.
They beat us.
They got pros in the league. Pajemski. J-Dub.
All right, so we just get some Santa Clara campus shots.
Great campus. Never will be seen. Never.
All right. Are you coming tonight?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, my
Come
man.
on.
Dude, we'll talk some ball. College hoops.
Hornets tonight. Hornets are a must-watch for me.
To start diving into some NBA content.
College?
I'm up for it. Not now.
Who's playing?
What, in the NBA?
I don't know. College? Feels like everybody just plays Tuesday and Saturday. All the good teams. We got to dive in tonight.
We need to bring Big Monday back with a game at UNLV at UCSB at
we'll get some
Jerry
more.
Pym.
We'll get some more because everybody was afraid of Monday Night Football.
That's fair.
You know?
I think so. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Reds. This might be a dump.
Yeah. All righty. Have a great day. We'll see you. It's Mondays. We'll start doing pods on Mondays.
Allegedly.
If we're here. Could be in Calgary, could be in Australia. TBD.
Shout out to the tall balds.
Stand the fight. Declining athleticism.